up, Hockeywood, LA? You're watching a special edition of Overtime by KingsCast. I'm Keith Korneluk.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski. That's right, Keith. The Kings are taking 8 days to figure it out. It's the best of the last decade or so, and they called in the experts, Jim Fox, Bob Miller, Rich Hammond, to challenge the blogosphere.
Why did they ask us?
They must have been hard up.
So we're going to talk to you today about the reasons why you should be a Los Angeles Kings fan. Let's be honest, it has been a rough decade for the Los Angeles Kings, for the fans, and it got so bad that I would yell up to the general manager's box and request that they validate my parking. Unfortunately, requests went unanswered.
Of course. But luckily this year, 2009, the Los Angeles Kings are emerging as a contender and have a dynamic team and are really moving forward, and everyone's recognizing that now.
So here are your top 3 reasons why you should be a Los Angeles Kings fan.
That's right, Keith. The number one reason for us here at KingsCast to be a Kings fan is Dean Lombardi.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy has completely revamped the organization. When have we ever had a top-to-bottom rebuild, Chris? I mean, the organization got behind him, invested in all the video equipment, the computer. I mean, they were still on typewriters when Dave Taylor was there. Lombardi walks in, he's like, what is this? And he really pushed for it and has done a fantastic job, and at the expense of the fans for a couple of years. But we would not have this kind of dynamic team that's really starting to emerge in the National Hockey League if it weren't for Lombardi's persistence.
We gutted the team, everywhere from the coaching staff to the trainers to facilities. And I think it's starting to pay off finally. We've seen the movement every year. We've had more wins since Dino's been there. And this year we're gearing up for what could be, a serious end to the playoff drought.
Absolutely. I think one of the other things that Lombardi specializes in, Chris, is the draft picks. I mean, here's a guy that drafts people like, Brandon Kozun in the late rounds, Laktiana, Voinov. I mean, the guy scouts everyone and in just such a meticulous fashion. I mean, if this guy decided to draft a 2-foot dwarf with a missing arm, I'd probably say he's got a chance to make the Canadian World Juniors. I just trust him implicitly when it comes to drafting. I mean, Lombardi, one of my favorite quotes, he said, "It's not about the sex, it's about the meat." Dean Lombardi is really trying to build a cohesive locker room. And this season, more than any other Kings season, we win a game and the entire team comes out like we just won the cup.
And the other emphasis has been on leadership.
Yes.
You got Dustin Brown. They knew he was going to be a captain for several years. And you look at a Drew Doughty and Oscar Mole and these guys who had big parts on the World Junior teams last year. And Thomas Hickey. There's no accident here. Justin Williams. These guys are all leaders. And having those 2-3 years together is making a big difference. That's what we've been waiting for. You can't just bring in new guys every year and expect it to work out. You look at all the champions in the last decade or so, and you look at the Red Wings, and these guys have been playing together for years and years, and it's just about patience. But Dean Lombardi, I like his emphasis on the team mentality and the leadership. So in our last video blog for the Figure 8, we talked about goaltending. And we talked about Felix Potvin, clear runaway for the goaltender of the decade. Easily. And, talk about how Jonathan Quick has sort of carried this team on his back for a guy who really came out of nowhere. And you got Jonathan Bernier down in Manchester holding the fort. He's coming along as, like we thought he would, as our top goaltender down there. What his future is, we don't know. But like Ron Hextall said at the beginning of the year when we talked to him at Hockey Fest, that's a good problem to have.
Not to mention, now you got Jeff Zatkoff also doing well in Manchester, holding his own. Martin Jones, guy who went undrafted, again, scouting. Martin Jones now made the World Junior Championships for Team Canada.
It's huge. I mean, we look at all of our Kings prospects. We look at players all over the world.
He did a great job in San Jose, too. He had Toskala, he had Nabokov, he had Mika Kiprusoff. And he ended up having to trade Kiprusoff. He had 3 stud goaltenders in the system. Wow. Reason number 3 to be a Los Angeles Kings fan are the fans. Chris, it's great to be a Los Angeles Kings fan, and even when we're losing, these guys are so passionate online, at the game. I mean, you can meet so many new friends at Staples Center as long as you're not wearing the opposing team's jersey.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think the Kings core fans are some of the strongest in the league. I mean, we're talking about a team that's been around for 42, 43 years, has won division title, been to the Stanley Cup Finals once. I mean, this is a team that has been suffering for over 40 years. And when you have a group of fans like that come to the games, still follow the team, are incredibly patient, that's what makes it worth it.
but these fans are hungry online. I talk to Kings fans all day on Twitter, and they're just so passionate and so opinionated.
And so knowledgeable as well.
Absolutely. What a great group of fans, and we've met just so many of you, and I think you guys are great.
Absolutely.
And so are we. Well, Hockeywood LA, that's our reasons to be a Kings fan. I want to know what yours are. Leave your comments, as always, downstairs. So I'm Keith Korneluk.
And I'm Chris Kalaszewski.
Thank you for watching KingsCast, and happy holidays, Hockeywood LA.